Hey guys, Joshua with Josh and Hunter's Adventures, and welcome back to the channel. Today's video we're talking about two baits that's going to help you catch the biggest bag of smallmouth in the spring. Now this time of year, the smallmouth are either getting ready to move up, to spawn, they're already on the beds, or they've already spawned and they've moved off. Some of them will spawn earlier than others. And there's two baits that I like to keep tied on at all times. And I found out, I have a lot of smallmouth lakes around my area, and this is it's pretty common for everyone to throw this time of year. So let's go ahead and talk about the first one. Now this one is for the ones that are just moving up, they're not on the beds, or they've already spawned, they've moved off, and they're trying to fatten up after that spawn. That's just a little 2.8 Kitech. I've talked about this a lot in the fall and the winter, but this is a really good technique this time of year to throw for smallmouth. I like that chartreuse electric blue. It seems to always work really well for me for smallmouth. They like that brighter color, and it just seems like they react really good to it. Now the head, I pour these myself. This is the Do It worm nose mold. I like anything from an 1/8 to a 1/4, depending on how deep I'm needing to get the bait down to. Like I said, I don't like to go really big. I like that 2.8 size. Just seems like it's right there in the middle. It's that finesse. They just seem like they bite it really well. I'll talk about the setup just in a minute after we talk about this other bait. Now, you may not have heard about this technique. I've already made a video about this. So if you want to learn some more about it, you can go back and check the other video out. I'll leave it linked in the video here. This basically is just a small little 4-inch green pumpkin worm. This is a local company that makes this specific one called Bass Munitions, and it's actually named after a lake here in my area. It's called the Holston worm. So basically it's just a 1/8 ounce tungsten weight on a 1 to 2/0 worm hook with just a small finesse worm. You can use anything from a power bait max scent or just your standard Zoom finesse worm. Anything in that 4 to 5 inch range will work great for when they're on the bed. Now let's talk about how you're going to fish this. So in my area, we don't always see them on the beds because our lakes are TVA chain lakes, and we're going from winter pool to summer pool, so our lakes are rising constantly. So what we found out in my area is if you will throw it all the way as close as you can get to the bank and just fish it as slow as you can possibly fish it, because when you're normally bed fishing, you're sight fishing, it's holding in that bed and making that fish bite. So remember, just fish this technique super slow, and if you get a bite, you know that there's a bed there. 90% of the time if you get bit right there, he or she is either tail bit it, and you can throw back and usually catch it. Sometimes it might take 5 or 10 more casts, but if you keep throwing it, you usually catch one. Like I said, this is a really good technique this time of year. It's super compact. There's no real action to it. I don't know what they like about it, but it works great for smallmouth when they're on the bed. So again, try that if you have smallmouth in your area. They really like that. Now let's talk about the gear that you need for this. So on the green worm, the little 1/8 ounce green worm, I like to throw it on a spinning rod, obviously, because 1/8 ounce tungsten. You can throw it a little bit farther on a spinning over a casting. Any type of 7-foot medium action rod will work great. I've got this one paired with a Daiwa Regal in a 2500. The line, let's talk a little bit about the line. It is Sunline Sniper in 7-pound. Now, if you're going to throw fluorocarbon or a braid to fluorocarbon, you've got to check your line pretty regular, because you are going to fray a lot, especially fishing around rocks. Smallmouth, they like to spawn around those rocks, those shell banks. Sometimes they'll be up in the flats, yes, but you've got to make sure you check that line. Now, let's talk about the setup for my little swim bait. You guys have seen this before on the channel if you follow me. This is the Phoenix Feather series. This one is the 7'7". I like that, so I can make super long casts. I've got it paired up with a Daiwa Revros and a 2500, and I throw Berkley Trilene Big Game 8-pound test. I've always used this Berkley Big Game for this, and it works great. That line is super strong. It does have a little memory, so you may have to change it, you know, a little more frequently, but it's a lot cheaper, so you can get by with doing that. So just remember, if you're going to use that Berkley Trilene Big Game, that it does hold memory just a little bit more, and you can use some of that line conditioner. That works really well, so that might be something you want to try. But really, these two baits will catch you the biggest bag of smallmouth in the spring. Like I said, throw that little worm. Like I said, here's the little worm. And then throw that little swim bait for the ones that are moving up or they've already spawned. And you'll catch some big ones this time of year. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, leave me a thumbs up. And if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on that notification bell. That way you know we put out videos. Till next time, this is Josh with Josh and Hunter's Adventures. Thanks for watching.